Hello everybody, it's been a while. It has been a while. As you can see, there's been a lot of changes in my room. I'm facing a different direction. In life too. Alright, so I'm just going to cut to the chase. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to tween. So, you probably came to this video trying to do animations like these. Yeah, those are the only two animations I've ever done with using this process. So yeah, so today I'm going to be telling you guys how to do this on Krita, not on IBS Paint or anything else. You know, just Krita because that's the only program I'm actually familiar with. So yeah, let's get on with it. Alright, first things first is to actually familiarize with the process of adding in a transformative layer or just a transformative mask. I believe that's what it's called. So we're gonna make a new actual, project. So you've got your project. You know what your idea is. The first thing you need to do to actually make a tweening animation is to actually just draw, literally. So I'll be back right now. Alright guys, as you guys can see, I have executed a portrait of myself. Yes, I am that skinny. Yes, my hair does look like that. Yes. Yes. I'm just kidding. This is just basically a self-insert of me when I had a haircut and when I was really skinny. Don't question the anatomy right now. It's called perspective, alright? It's called perspective. There's no such thing as bad anatomy. It's just perspective, guys. But yeah. So first thing you're gonna do is group these two together because, you want your first layer to be, cool and stuff. You just want it to be separated from all the others. And what we're gonna name this is the dissection layers. So you'll see why that comes in a bit. After that, you do exactly what that layer is named after. Dissect, dissect, dissect. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, if you want different moving parts, say like the arm, well, you're just going to have to crop it out. There's this phenomenon I always, name. It's called the thumbing or the fingers. Because, alright, so the reason why... I'm sorry guys, but the reason why I say this is because when you remove say, you hear his head, right? Hold on, let me try to find in these bunch of layers that I put. Alright, when you remove their head, you're gonna have to kind of, like, I guess, I'm sorry, the only reason why I'm cracking up is because this looks like a really well-drawn potato. But anyways, yeah guys, so when you're gonna dissect it, you're gonna have to round it off. You're gonna have to think 3 steps ahead. So say, for example, this left arm, right, that I wanted. Obviously, this was my first tweening animation, so it didn't look really perfect, but, which one was it, right arm or left arm? Anyways, yeah, it was this one. So see how I, sort of, upper arm. Yeah, there we go. So see how I sort of, drew the shape of it in order to move. So I wanted it to go slightly to the left, as you guys can see, or slightly to the right. I just basically wanted to go like this, right? So what I basically did is that I adjusted its shape for that movement. And you'll see in a bit. So as you guys can see, hold on, let me lower down the fucking volume. It's too goddamn loud. So as you guys can see, that arm went like this. So I briefly adjusted it to have more kind of like leg room, or arm room in this case, to move in a certain way. So yeah, in this case, we're just gonna be dissecting. That's really all there is to it. You just gotta dissect, dissect, dissect. Also create a divider, because if you don't, then everything will end up in the same dissection layer, and then you're just gonna be all, crazy, and you're just gonna be all mad. But anyways, when you're dissecting a thing, say for an example, this is the final one, this is the sketch, but this is the final one, by the way. When you say dissect a arm like this, you kind of already want to make the shape of it, but not really. And then add it, next to the divider, and then aptly name it the thing that it's after. So since this is an example, I'm just going to work with what I got so far. So say for the arm, because if I really just dissect everything, it's going to take a long time, and this video is already as long as it is. But yeah. But anyways, you're gonna want to open up your animation curves, and animation curves is very, very, very useful in this context. So you're gonna add a transformative mask, and when you got a bunch of masks in one group, obviously name it as the mask or as any type of thing that you would want for it to be named after. But yeah, anyways, so what's so cool about the transformative tool is that it automatically adjusts to whatever you want it to do. So say for an example, I added this, right? And it shows right on here, the dots that you see right here, it's going to show you the movement or the sequence of events that's going to happen. So say I come over here and move it like this, right? It's automatically going to create the movement. So what that means is that it's going to adjust its smooth framing. So I moved it down and it's going to smoothly go down like that. So basically Krita just handles everything for you. I'm just gonna make this a little bit lower in opacity because, dude, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference. But yeah, so say I want his arm to be kind of moving, right? To just freaking move. In this context, I don't really have to worry about the shape of it or anything. But if it was, say, colored, since I did make it white, I would have to tweak it. And since it's going down, I would kind of have to make it into this shape. You know? Or if it's going up, I would have to make it into this shape. So like for this, for example, I'm going to move it like this. We're just going to pretend that the black isn't there. Well, actually, I'm just going to make it into a different color. So we're going to make it green. And for this example, we're just going to ignore the green. We're just going to pretend that the shape that we created is in the same shade as that. So since it's in that shape and I want it to go up, I have to adjust it like this while following the same kind of structure as the upper arm. So you'll see. So yeah, basically you're just giving yourself some room to kind of move in a way without it breaking the actual shape or the illusion that it's actually moving along with the colors in the body. So yeah, we'll see. This is the result of it. Like I said, using the shape to like that. So yeah, you have to kind of think 3 steps ahead in order to do a movement. With the head, it's actually kind of different. It's way different, actually. So with the head, you're just going to basically have to dissect it or cut it or trim it, however you want to describe it. I like describing it as dissecting it. But yeah, like I said, using the 3 steps ahead method. I know I'm not that good with fucking names, but you know what I mean, like dissection method or techniques. I don't really care, but yeah, with the head it's way different because since it's dissected from its neck, the neck also becomes its own thing. So in this case, you don't really need to think 3 steps ahead. You could just really just thumb it out. Just round it out, these 2 things. So what do I mean by this? Well, I actually mean like this, for example. Oh, wait. So hold on, let me take this out since we're only focusing on the neck. So in order for it to give the illusion that it has way more, like the neck is never ending, let's just round it out, make it into like it's like an action figure, basically. You know how like when you were a kid, you used to take out the heads of your action figures, see what was underneath, and it was just a round little ball. Basically, that's what you're doing. You're action figuring it, I guess. And yeah, you're also putting this in here. And since we only want the head to move, obviously you use the whole thing all over again. You not really group, but you add a transformative layer. If you got multiple, you know, obviously label it. And then on the mask layer, You obviously do put, you know, some motion lines or some, what's it called? Keyframes. Yeah, you put some keyframes and just go crazy. Go crazy, guys. Literally, that's all there is to it in order for you to move the head, but everything else you have to think 3 steps ahead. You can't necessarily just do it like this, for example. Yeah. For the head, it's really just simple like that. For the arm, you really do have to like be really careful with it if you don't want to break it up. Like, for example, my Yahir project, I wasn't thinking all the way straight. You know, I didn't have enough experience for this, but basically, yeah. You see this breakage right here. This is the one of the biggest mistakes I've ever done in this animation so far. Holy shit, that scared me. And it just crashed. So that's the funny thing about Krita. You really need a good computer, or else it's going to crash like that. It's very prone to crashing. That's why it's not a real recommended software to use for animation or anything like that. Just basically drawing. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you're gonna tween it right. I'm just the beginner at this, so me teaching you how to tween, I'm basically at the same level as y'all. If you guys do surpass me, I'm going to find you and I'm going to show up at your house.